Hi, everybody. Welcome to It's Sybil. I'm Sybil Wilkes here with my guys, and it is a day that we welcome back Damon Williams. He's been on the road and just as busy, if not busier than ever. Hey, Damon.
Hey, Sybil, I've been out here like I'm a crime,
but,
spreading myself around.
but not catching it.
No.
Okay.
And
Thank goodness. Thank
Yeah.
goodness. And hello, Cameron. How are you today, Cameron Riley?
Hey, Sybil. Hey, Damon. I have been in the house. I've been chilling in the house.
So that's my question to you guys. And I don't want to, just kind of, rub this in a bit, but right now as we're talking, it's 55 degrees in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Uh, what what is it there in Chicago?
it's no degrees.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It is 9 degrees in Chicago.
Was that the high?
The high today was 12.
Oh,
Yes.
you got into double digits,
Yeah,
did
cooler
you?
by the lake, as we say.
Yeah,
in Chicago.
right. Always cooler by the lake. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cold today. Tom Skilling got bass in his voice.
Tom Skilling is one of my favorite people ever. He's a
Yeah, Sybil.
meteorologist on WGN.
Yeah.
As you know, you can look over here. Boy, I tell you, he's on WGN. People know him around the country, I would suspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been around forever. I think longer than you have, Cameron.
Yes.
But he's one of those guys that folks that were, I don't know if they're still able to get WGN the way they used to, but it was a superstation before there were superstations and like TBS and what have you. And Tom Skilling is the meteorologist, the weatherman that people know from WGN in Chicago, Channel 9. So my cousin, my godbrother, sent me a screen grab of it was like 2 degrees
Yep.
the other
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Um,
Tomorrow's we're supposed to be hitting the negatives. Actually, tonight we're supposed to be hitting the negatives.
my God. Okay. All right. And as Yolanda likes to say to people, those of us from the Midwest or still in the Midwest, you don't have to live like that.
Hey, but at least they won't cut off our utilities. You ain't got to pay because they'll leave it on forever because we'll die.
And it didn't always used to be that way.
No.
Right.
Everybody in Chicago, perfect time to stop paying your heating and your electric is now.
Yeah. Because the lie is, as you said, people can die, and so there are conditions that are made for people who are unable. And I heard they're encouraging people to go out to the homeless and tell them that the libraries and
Right.
other city buildings are open for people who are out on the streets tonight.
Ain't nobody out on the streets tonight. You ain't got to tell them they found some place to be. This is the type of weather when the homeless go home.
It's how cold is it?
It's so cold the homeless went home. Hey, Mama, I'm off this snack. Can I come home?
Just for the night.
I'll be good. I'll be good. Yeah. I have memories of those cold days in Chicago, but my blood has thinned out considerably. I just don't know if I could do it anymore.
Yeah, and you're right, Yogi. There's no reason for us to live like this. And every year I say I'm not doing winter in Chicago, and here I am in winter in Chicago. I am looking forward to going to Mexico next week though for a wedding. So that
Oh,
helps.
nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Nice.
Wedding. Where at?
Yeah, he doesn't even care. It's
Right.
it's south.
Yeah, I would go for a divorce right now. But we're going to Cancun. My man Sean Howard and Tanya Herring. Congratulations. Yes.
That's great. That's really great. Good for them. Congratulations and smart.
Yeah. Perfect time.
Absolutely, very, very smart. All right. Any other things you want to share with your cold weather stories of horror or success?
Well, at least the Bears not in the playoffs because people would be out there at Soldier Field. in this
Okay.
mess.
Okay.
And the
let's
Packers aren't either.
and we'll talk about that too, guys. That was one of my happiest memories of this football season. Wow, even Jussie Smollett would stay in tonight. We have that off of Facebook.
Yeah, it's perfect weather to douse bleach and swing a
And
noose.
put a noose around your neck, huh?
The
Okay.
weather for a hate crime.
Wow.
Jesse. Oh my God.
So let's move to the topical, and this is love the political stories, and this is hot off the presses. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced that she plans to run for re-election. She giving her best dream girl impersonation, and saying she's not going, and she is prepared to extend her more than 30 years in the United States Congress. She said, I'm running for re-election and respectfully seek your support. She said this to her fellow Democrats in California in a video message. I would be greatly honored by it and grateful for it.
Yeah, I would love to see her run anywhere, but she's walking for re-election. She ain't running.
Well, you know what? She's moving a lot faster than some other people her age, if not younger. Because we've seen some people in the White House and other places where they're not moving as quickly as Nancy is. She's sprightly of step and does it with heels on too. So I'm not
Run,
mad at her.
Nancy, run. I'm all
Run,
for it.
Nancy, run. She did not announce that she will run for speaker in her video announcement, but a lot of people thought that she would not run for re-election, and that they regarded as a sign that she felt that the Democrats were not going to win the majority in the House. Maybe she knows something. Maybe she's, trying to give that sign of confidence to people and encourage people to go out and vote in the midterm elections in order to return the Democrats to the majority in the House. Whether the House or the Senate or both are going to flip remains to be seen. But right now, as I like to refer to my magic 8-ball, the signs are not pointing to very good things for the Democrats right now.
Yeah, but Pelosi's also a shoo-in too. So her running again would be an absolute landslide against anybody running against her. And it's my thought process that the Democrats need someone to hold that minority seat and hold it strongly when the House flips. So,
yeah. I like to say if the House flips, Cam, but I think the most interesting race is going to be Kevin McCarthy, because his and I use air quotes, Republicans are not feeling McCarthy as he wants to envision himself as the next Speaker of the House.
Yeah, I can't stand Kevin McCarthy.
Well, you know what? Get in that long line because there are Democrats and certainly some Republicans who feel the same way as you do. The only popularity contest he seems to be winning right now is with the former president.
Yep, that is how you gain favor. You bark when he says bark.
Yep. And you dance when he, says so.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Damon, there are some races that we will talk about as we get closer, certainly in Illinois and Chicago, but we'll talk about those races as we get closer. But I do want to tell people in the state of Texas, the first primaries are in the state of Texas in March. Okay. And for those that have not registered, or please check your registration, you have about a week in order to finalize your registration. So please, let's get started in the state of Texas, and let's do our due diligence in registering, checking our registration, and then going out and vote. Okay?
Do not be dismayed. Voting by mail absolutely works. Check your polling place if you feel like voting in person, because with these new laws, they can change your polling place.
You know what, Khameron? And because of the way that they have manipulated the system, and especially with our voting, the new voting laws in the state of Texas, I really want people just to get out and vote. I'm very concerned about voting by mail. I'm concerned because, here's the thing. Oftentimes they say they will return the ballot because there's something wrong. And by the time the people get it back, it's too late.
Right.
I don't want to give them any opportunity to be able to return mail. I don't want to give them any opportunities to say, oh, you can't take all of these ballots or whatever it is. We need to find out where our voting places are. We need to find out what the hours are, and we need to get our people out to vote.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, Sybil. As long as you're in that line and in the correct polling place, they can't deny you.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. So let's make sure that we are registered. If you, I'm registered. No, let's check it. Let's check it.
They can't deny you unless they confiscate the machines. Like they were, there was a plot revealed that they were actually trying to think about doing that and using. Yeah, so it's a dirty game. We'll see what happens.
There's so many things that have come out of in the wake of Donald Trump and trying to manipulate the 2020 election, Damon. So many stories. It's hard to keep up with them, but that is one of the latest in terms of the machines and because look at what they did in Arizona, and they were they had several attempts by some people to verify the votes that nobody even heard of until they came in and said they were there to verify. And now no one's heard from them again. So it's going to be, and Arizona is a whole nother matter. Thank you, Kirsten Sinema. Talk a little baseball. Maybe this will warm you guys up. David Ortiz made it into the National Baseball Hall of Fame today on his very first try. And he was the only person elected to the Hall of Fame this year.
Oh.
Wow.
The only baseball player. And check this out, my Chicago baseball fans. Sammy Sosa, the 7-time All-Star, received 18.5% of the vote, and he missed for the 10th and final time to get on the ballot, to get into the Hall of Fame.
Well, that's because they didn't recognize his picture on the ballot.
I was going to say, maybe he can try again as a white man.
For people who don't know, Sammy Sosa was a beautiful brown-skinned Dominican man, and for whatever reason, and did you ever find out why he did this to whiten and lighten his skin?
I got a light-skinned friend, look like Michael Jackson. Got a dark-skinned friend, and they're both Sammy Sosa. He claims he didn't. He's still denying that he's not doing that. He's like, he's like, what? This is my face. This is my face.
This is how I was when I, was the home run slugger on the north side of Chicago. He had over 600 home runs in the leagues, but he has gone 0 for 10 in his run for the Hall of Fame. And the 10th and final year on the ballot, the 7-time All-Star, was way below the 75% threshold that you need to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And as did Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. They also fell short.
It's harder to get in the Hall of Fame than it is Sam's Club without that card. You ain't getting the Sam's Club.
man, and now they're feeling our pain, huh?
Look, so we have a Sam's Club, we have a Walmart that was nearby each other, and I went in Sam's thinking I was in the Walmart, and I got all my stuff, and I got to the counter. I'm like, oh, she's like, where's your card? I'm like, oh, so I'm like, well, this lady like, you ain't using my card. It was.
Like, you're so stingy with the membership cards. Like, just scan me. Like,
this is the biggest ball of nivy I've ever seen, ma'am. Please don't make me leave. She's like, nope.
Sorry, my friend, not gonna happen.
Didn't happen.
Was anybody as happy as I was? First of all, I have not been keeping up with football, but for some reason this weekend, I felt compelled to watch, and I needed some happiness in my life. So I watched football, and I'm wondering if either of you watched any of those 4 classic games that took place.
I certainly did watch a couple of them, tape delayed, or if you want to call it tape nowadays. But yeah, it was amazing, and all of them came down to the wire. 2 or 3 of them ended on a walk-off field goal, and it was exciting. Yeah, and Tom Brady almost made magic happen again. And
almost.
Of course, I'll let you go ahead and tell them the greatest.
No, go ahead, please. I just relish hearing it.
and Mr. Rogers don't own nobody. He had to go back to his own neighborhood. Because, he told the Chicago Bears, I own you. Okay, well.
The last game he played in Chicago, that's how he went out.
Yeah.
Telling Chicago he owned the team. Yeah.
So now he's somewhere dodging the virus with no vaccination.
And no mask, no nothing, just an idiot. And so a lot of questions about where he'll end up. But in Chicago Bears news, a black man is going to become the general manager of the Chicago Bears.
I read that, yeah.
Holy Fritz Pollard, you guys.
I hadn't even heard that yet. Wow.
Yeah. It's Ryan Poles from Kansas City. I hope the same thing doesn't happen after the last guy they hired from Kansas City. That would be the head coach, Nagy. But this young man, a former football player, he was I think he tried out for the Bears. They kept him over the summer, and then he was one of the last to let go in his year that he was trying to play football. He had a bad injury. He went back to school and worked his way up, and is now with Kansas City. And now George McCaskey went and met him at the airport.
Wow. And see, this is a great era to raise children, because now you can tell your children, honestly, you can do anything. Because if we got a black GM at the Bears, and if JB Smoove can be a spokesperson, anything can happen.
Life is full of possibilities.
Yes.
You are not lying to your kid when you say you can do anything.
You can do it.
If Zeke Cross can make it in the league on power. If you can trick a kid out and to miss 4 birthdays, you can do anything.
Just life is full of miracles, isn't it? Isn't it, black man? I swear. So we'll for a lot of people who are, not Chicago Bears fans, I'm sorry, but I just relish in the opportunity to talk a little of this sports action with my friends here. I do want to tell you about a Florida man arrested after having just lost his ever-loving mind at a Waffle House. Did you hear about this one?
I Google Florida man at least once a month just to get a good laugh.
Okay. So this is a Florida man who was arrested last Wednesday for allegedly causing a disturbance at a Cape Coral, Florida Waffle House. Cape Coral is my old hood. That's where my first radio jobs were, in Fort Myers, Cape Coral. Okay. And the reason why he was upset, it was the way his bacon was cooked. Now his bacon is really cooked because he was Martin Jose Alvarez is facing charges of disorderly intoxication, resisting an officer, and simple assault. He is accused of yelling to one of the people working in the kitchen, "You better cook the effing bacon right." I believe he didn't say effing. I think he said the word. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
He said that police said that Alvarez was upset how his bacon was delivered, and they reported he was accused of shouting racial slurs at the workers and resisting officers until they threatened him with a taser. He is, and as I said, which is the way a lot of people end up at the Waffle House, disorderly intoxication.
I think you go to the Waffle House for the little surprises on your plate that they give you. Oh, this Waffle House gives me, a little extra greasy hash browns. This Waffle House gave me, a slightly burnt bacon. You don't get to make demands at a Waffle House.
Oh, but, there's a certain amount of, I guess they deserve, feel as though, they are above all of that. And he didn't like the way his effing bacon was prepared.
I need some loaded hash browns.
And I've had people, Yolanda Starks White, who have sent their food back.
At a Waffle House?
Not at the Waffle House, but
okay.
I don't know that she's ever been in a Waffle House. But I will say, there's something about yelling people about the way or telling people the way your food is prepared is not to your liking is a dangerous situation to be in. Michelle Lynn somehow says on Facebook, bacon is important. Yes, ma'am, it is.
Bacon is kind, bacon is important, and it is special.
When I used to cook food for my whole family, the one thing that I could not get incorrectly was the bacon.
Really?
Yeah. My mom
would So with just a couple of seconds left, what's your secret for your perfect slices of bacon preparation?
I'm cooking for 8 people, but you get the thick. We graduated from turkey bacon to pork bacon, but we get the thick pork bacon slabs. You put it in the microwave for 7.5 minutes, no more, no less.
7.5.
Yeah, and then you get that nice even crunch, and you also get the nice little like fibrous, fat as well on the way down. It's good.
Yeah, your crunch to fat ratio needs to be in order. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, bacon talk here on It's Sybil, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on, and let's move to what's really going on. So, Snoop Dogg, he's a man of many talents, and music being one of them. But he has revealed his dream collaboration. He is now reported to have revealed his dream collaboration is Sade. He's been too nervous to meet her in the past, but he has this, he's doing the Super Bowl and sharing the stage with Dr. Dre and others, and he has a different collaboration floating around in his head, and that's doing a song with Sade. She's probably not the first, he's probably not the first man to say that he wanted to do, actually, Wanda Sykes has put herself out there as doing a collaboration with Sade. But he is in his studio with friends, and somebody asked if there's anyone left in music he wants to work with, and he only hesitated to take a hit off his blunt before wistfully announcing it's Sade. It came up earlier this month. It got a big reaction in the room. Everybody thought it was a great idea and encouraged him to make it happen. So that brings us to the what's really going on question of the day. Who is your dream collaboration? It can be in music, it could be in movies, it could be a television show, maybe even, people running for office like president, vice president, a governor, lieutenant governor, living or not. And I'll give you an example. Everybody talks about what could have happened if Michael Jackson and Prince had ever collaborated, if they had done something together, if that ever could have happened and what it would have been like. So I'm asking everybody who's watching and listening, who is your dream collaboration? Or maybe it's somebody you want to go out on the road with, Damon, that you would love to work with. I can only imagine who you would come up with. And that's why I brought this question to you. Or maybe, Khameron, maybe it's somebody you would love to write with, do a collaboration in a screenplay with. So let's talk about this. Who would you like to see as in a collaboration and a partnership in the arts, movies, television, music, comedy on stage, whatever? Who do you think? Who would like to go first? Give me their first suggestion.
Go for it, Kim.
Okay. Okay. So if I'm like playing Dungeons and Dragons and I want to like create a world, my dream collaboration would be with obviously Matthew Mercer. If I was to create like a screenplay or a play, I think that my dream collaboration would definitely be Issa Rae. If I were to create a movie, it'll definitely be Spike Lee. And if I were to collaborate in trying to think, like if I were to collaborate in the kitchen.
Hold on to that. Okay, because
Okay.
that's a whole nother area, and that's and as a chef, I want you to hold on to that. Damon, what about you?
Well, I'm gonna start with Sade.
Okay. All right, Mr. Smooth Operator.
Yeah, we don't even know why we are so enamored with Sade, but she is just, she's the ultimate in a lot of ways, musically and such. But I mean, of course, in my line of work, I would go with Richard Pryor. I love to do a movie with Richard Pryor and Red Fox, just to be around those cats because they're legends and they're no longer with us. Alive, I'm still trying to link with Eddie Murphy on a project of some sort. So that's not too far fetched in the realm of possibility. So it'll be a dream come true to work with Eddie in any capacity.
Yeah, I would love to and I don't think it's a collaboration because I just want to watch her work again the way she did, and that's Oprah. I think that she was, absolutely, and she could throw it to me and say, "Who do we have coming up next?" Or "You get a car, Sybil Wilkes," and or whatever it is. But I just think that she was one of the best, and of course, she learned by watching Barbara Walters, and so that's another person that a lot of people in our business want to talk about. So it's just interesting. Okay, so Khameron, as we are waiting for people to give us their suggestions online here, who would be your kitchen collaborator?
Yeah, for my kitchen collaborator, it's hard. There's a lot of really cool vegan chefs out there now. So you probably have to come back to me on that one. So I'm still thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aubrey Williams on YouTube says, "I would love to collaborate with George Wallace because I would love to talk about people's mamas." All right, Aubrey, give us your best mama joke then. And George may be watching. You never know. Renita Bland says Anita Baker and Lettucey. Yes, old school and new school. She says that on Facebook. Absolutely. I love that. Isaac Hayes and Barry White. That would be an interesting collaboration. Rosemary Smith on YouTube.
Yeah. Nice.
What do you think about that collaboration, Gucci D?
Well, when Barry first came out, a lot of people compared him to Isaac Hayes, his voice tones and his musical composition. So that would be like a dream come true or a match made in heaven already, I would think.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. Walter Ross says the late Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, if she were alive, I would love to collaborate politically with her. She is my all-time political shero. Walter Ross on Facebook. You just got me right in my heart there. Absolutely. That is brilliant. Positively brilliant.
And pre-scandal, I would have loved to work with Bill Cosby, but
I was wondering if that was going to come, if that was going to be one of your collaborations. So
it's going to come, but it's going to come, but you got to take a nap first. In case you're wondering if it's coming, it's coming.
Oh, it's coming.
And you got to take a nap first.
How do you like your Spanish fly, young
I want all that fidgeting and talking back.
Oh my gosh, Rosemary! Oh, okay. Rosemary Smith on YouTube says Tyler Perry and Damon Williams.
Let's get it going, Rosemary.
Okay. All right, TP.
Unless that's some type of weird sexual fantasy.
No, sir.
Then you're just not down. No.
No.
Gwen Montgomery on YouTube says we need a Harlem Nights 2, Damon.
Yeah, we need the next generation film like that. And I wish Bernie Mac had been in that movie, but Eddie did bring him in on life. And, the only reason why I didn't mention Bernie is because I did get a chance to work with him, but he's also someone I would love to have a project. And actually, he had mentioned a project that he was going to be working on going forward before he got sick. And he was going to include me in it, but that's here nor there. But shouts out to the king, Bernie Mac. I would have loved to see a new Rat Pack of comics do a movie like Harlem Nights 2, and let Eddie Murphy still do it and be the OG now, and pass the torch to the young guns.
He did it with Coming to America.
Yeah,
and newer, younger comedians were in that. Brought them along, and I was thinking about that the other day when Louis Anderson passed, and how he was in the original Coming to America, and that was the picture that I had in my mind of Louis Anderson. But Damon, without telling about the project that Bernie was working on, could you carry that forth?
No, because he was going to do a concert film, and it was going to be his retirement from stand-up, but he was going to do a tour first, and he told me I would be the host. I was going to go out on the road with him. And yeah, he called me. I tell you why it happened. This is so funny. It's a quick story. All right, so Michael Collier was in the movie, I think it's Long Shots with Keke Palmer, and when she was the quarterback. I don't know that's the name of it, but anyway. So they were shooting down in Louisiana. Michael was doing a show at the Funny Bone. He said, "Man, come down here, man, and do the show with me. I can't guarantee you nothing, but the producers and Ice Cube, because he was on the film, might be there and they'll see you. You get a chance to see him, man. Do that." So I go. Ice Cube don't show up. The producers don't show up, but Sam Jackson came, and Sam and Garrett Morris and one of the young lady from JoJo. I forgot her name. Anyway, so now I get to meet Sam Jackson. so Sam was down there shooting the movie Soul Man with Bernie.
Oh,
That was the last film.
Mm-hmm.
So I leave kind of dejected, because I'm like, man, the producers didn't show up. I ain't get to meet Q. But when I landed at the airport, Bernie had his boy called me on the phone to tell me all his plans of what he wanted to do. And so I was like, okay, something did come up. He's like, yeah, I heard you was down there home. I don't see people. And he said, people don't see me, but I see people. I see what you're doing with Star Plaza Theater. You keep doing your thing home. And I got this plan. He was going to do a concert. Yeah, we had a decent long talk about that, and then he became unwell, and he eventually passed away. But yeah, so long live the King, Mac man, Bernie Mac.
Long live. He had great ideas, and especially his incorporation of his comedy and a band and all of that. It was like a full-fledged variety show, if you will.
Indeed, Midnight Mac for sure.
Yeah.
He did the variety show on HBO. So shouts out to that. As far as that's concerned, now we'll see what this Eddie Murphy thing does. I've put it in the universe now, so let's.
There you go.
It can happen, man.
If I can't get Eddie Martin, let's go.
Okay. Did you see this on Facebook the other day? There was it was just a pilot about a black family of witches and warlocks, and Myra J was in it.
Oh, wow. So was Martin.
Yeah, and so there was this picture of them. It was Michael Warren, Vanessa Bell Calloway, I think, Myra J. And you might not have recognized Myra. She had a wig on, and she was with the two kids, and Martin was at her feet.
Yeah.
And so, but this they had one showing, and then it never went anywhere. But
there was another. I believe there's another guy, and he looks like Morris Day, sort of, but he's a comedian.
Yeah, his name is Finesse. Is it Finesse?
I wanted it to be Finesse. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the original Finesse, because my first time ever going to the Comedy Store, way before I was thinking about doing stand-up, he was the headliner. He was phenomenal. He was like a Broadway guy. He was like all over the place. He had a full-fledged show, and I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, he's the only person I didn't recognize of the adults in there. And George Wallace recognized him and called his name. And I think it was Finesse Hughes. I think that's what I know. It was Finesse.
It definitely was. I think he went by Finesse for sure. Yeah.
But what a collaboration that was. And Myra said, that was not the first time she worked with Martin, because they did stage work, as stand-ups. But that preceded her working on the Martin show.
Nice.
Yeah.
But thank God that show didn't happen, because it looks so cheesy that Martin would have never become the classic sitcom that it was.
That's true.
The graphics, it was interesting.
Yeah, it really. I mean, it was a young Martin. I mean, he looked like he could have been like a teenager in that kind of show. So, very interesting. I just love the idea of just thinking outside of the box, and in terms of collaborations, and almost like Michael Stallworth says, Barry White and Isaac Hayes did a collab. Oh, come on, Michael Stallworth with the facts on Facebook. Did a collaboration in 1991 named Dark and Lovely, You Over There. Michael.
Michael is a musical historian. When I used to do the happy hour, he would tune in with all type of facts. And obviously that didn't work, because none of us heard it before, but that's like.
So he is a man of facts, however obscure they are, and statistics. He can come up with those in our political discussions.
Like a warlock on the show.
Okay. Gail Artist, I love this on Facebook. Me and Maxwell. He. I'm not mad at you, girl. I'm not mad at you. My girl Kim Whitley was trying to mac with Maxwell the other day as she was co-hosting the Wendy Williams show with the Finesse. Yeah, and she was trying her hardest, man. I've never seen a woman mac that hard, but she did a good job, and she might give you a run for your money, Gail. Lala Wilson on Facebook says, I would sing background for Eric Benet. I would too. and just one song, and that's Chocolate Legs. That's all I need. That's my favorite, one of my favorite songs, and definitely my favorite Eric Benet song, Chocolate Legs. So I'm right there with you. I wouldn't even have words coming out of my mouth. I would mouth it, but because I wouldn't want to offend anyone with my singing. All right, last
A
call.
background lip syncer.
Yeah, right. Last call for you, Khameron. Can you think of that chef or one more person for you?
Yeah, I mean, there are two West Side chefs that I really liked. I mean, there's Chef Bruce B, who also cooks plant-based meals for the Chicago Bulls. And there is the Chef Q Ibrahim, who's also a North Lawndale chef, who just makes like the most delicious like vegetarian soul food that I have ever had. So.
Keep it local, Khameron. I love that. Absolutely.
But,
all right, let's move.
But you do vegetarian and bacon?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that
offends your sensibilities.
Well, the one thing that vegetarian and vegan stuff can't get right is any sort of like phony bacon. Just forget about it.
You must have never had sizzling.
David!
Sizzling
with
and
the obscure,
steakums.
my mother tried with sizzling. Oh Lord, that's so funny. Let's move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. And Khameron, you're up first. There is the latest Forever stamp, and you wrote about this artist that is going to be on the latest stamp.
Oh yeah. Her name is she's got a real rough name, but her name is Edmonia Lewis. I'd never heard of her prior to the article, so I got a bit of a chance to research her and dig up her legacy. She was the daughter of a Black father and a Native American Chippewa woman. She is a world-renowned sculptor. After surviving a lot of the racist and prejudice acts in the United States and apprenticing under a Edward Augustus Brackett, she moved to Rome and did what would be known as like a contemporary fellowship. And that's where her sculpting really took off. And this is in the 1800s into the 1900s or 1800s only? Yeah, this is like late 1800s, early 1900s. Like this is like back in the day. And just she was born before the end of slavery. Yes.
Wow.
But she was born free. Wow. And a lot of the stories around her backstory and her legacy are a little inconsistent. And I like to think that was because she wasn't trying to get confused for an escaped slave. Mm-hmm. So she kind of kept her identity a bit mysterious. But the sculpture that she's most famous for is called The Death of Cleopatra. And if anyone Googles it, it's an incredible piece. People give it its flowers because of the way that she portrayed death so realistically. It's a 3,000-pound sculpture, and it shows Cleopatra as she's suffering from the venom of the snake, the asp. And the reason why this sculpture back for its time was so controversial is because people often portray Cleopatra in the presence of her African Black slaves. But Edmonia chose not to portray her that way, even though she still chose to portray her against her better judgment as a white woman, which we know today is scientifically incorrect. She sculpted Ulysses S. Grant and a whole lot of other famous figures. I mean, she lived the life that a lot of artists today would love to have. Mm-hmm. It's an honor to learn about her and everything that she's done. She really cleaved a niche for herself into the industry of sculpture.
A fascinating story, and one that, like you, a lot of people are not familiar with Edmonia Lewis's history, her backstory, and all of that, but now can go and buy the latest Forever stamp, as it now is published by the United States Postal Service. And so this is a part of the series, and I think she's 40-something in the line of famous Black Americans that are depicted on the Forever stamp.
And man, you talk about dealing with racism, a Native American and a Negro in the 1800s, boy. I tell you what, her mother must have had that monkey.
David, I haven't heard about the monkey in a very long time.
If you go
a Chippewa monkey.
Yeah, slaves. She had that chimpanzee. Anyway, for a black man to make it onto the reservation and come off with his wife and have kids and survive racism and slavery, that's boy. But they don't make them like that anymore.
that we know of. Perhaps
Look,
someone will share this.
After all that lofty, esteemed history you gave, I reduced it to
You come down to the monkey on the back. Yeah, her mama, the chimp.
Her mama had that monkey.
The chimpa. This is taking a turn here and talking about asking people, are you prepared to go to war with Russia? It may not come down to that, but certainly President Biden and others are making plans as the Department of Defense, that would be General Lloyd Austin, has announced that 8,500 troops are being readied to travel. And these are 8,500 troops in the United States are being prepared to travel at a moment's notice in order to go and stake their places around Ukraine and especially around the NATO countries who may be affected by a Russian invasion. They're hoping that diplomatic measures are going to work before anything involving military and war are concerned. But Russia, that Vladimir is circling the Ukraine, and they're just waiting for it. This is the crazy part. They're waiting for it to get a little bit colder because they know how to fight in cold weather. The Russians do. And so they said by February, the ground is going to be nice and frozen and they're going to be ready to go in. Ukraine, on the other hand, the country, they say the people there in Kiev and other, that's the capital city, and other cities, they're like, war? What war? We're good. I don't know what you all are also concerned about. So it's fascinating to me to watch this. And as President Biden is talking about war, and I just saw a poll today asking who do you think would win this war? Would it be President Biden or would it be Putin? And Americans are saying Putin. Yeah. They believe in the strength and the might of Vladimir Putin than they do of Joe Biden and the greatest military force in the world.
Well, you said, are we ready to go to war? And shouts out to all our military people who are already involved and already enlisted. But how are you going to get people to go to war when you can't even get people to go to work at Chipotle? We are not the country we used to be. Most places... Wow. Starbucks can't even stay open past 5 because they can't get workers. And you think somebody about to go and fight for the Ukraine?
Yeah,
that's going to be very interesting.
Damon, that is really a great point because you talk about where we are in our employment situation in this country. But on the other side of that, you are in the military and you're supposed to be expected to go to war at a moment's notice or however long it takes you. But I remember during the early years of the war in Iraq, and we had members of the military who were calling us and telling us, we're scared because, my child, who is also in the military, is maybe having to go to war. And I thought, well, isn't that a part of the job description? But you're right. And knowing what we know now about the hell of war, that we didn't know for a long time because they didn't come back and talk about it. But we know now what many of the things that can be expected, whether it's Agent Orange or maybe it's PTSD or whatever. Are they going to have enough people to cover this?
And now, it's so technological. You shouldn't even have to have men and women risking their lives on the ground. I'll kill you, you kill me. It's ridiculous. So let's hope that it doesn't come to that. And if the Ukraine can wait it out, once it is not cold, the problem with the after spring, it melts. And so the Russian tanks were getting stuck in the mud. That's why, that's why they're waiting for the winter, because they know they go over there. And see, Russia ought to leave them alone. They found out, like we did, that they couldn't even defeat the Afghanistan troops and army or the Taliban over there. So war is not the answer. And I didn't make that up.
But you should put it in a collaboration for a song. I'm just saying. Hold on to that. I do want to give a sad update to a story we did last week, and this is about a young woman who died in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and her family still looking for answers regarding the death of 23-year-old Lauren Smith Fields. Now, the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has determined, and she died December 12th. Of 2021, and now we are well past a month later, and the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner determined that this 23-year-old woman died of acute intoxication due to the combined effects of fentanyl, promethazine, hydrazine, and alcohol. And death is being ruled an accident. This is the craziest story because apparently she met a man on Bumble, a white man on Bumble. He reportedly came to her apartment. They were going to go out or, party or whatever. And they did party and ingest some drugs. He woke up, he went into her bedroom and found her dead. Her family could not reach her. He called the police, the date, called the police and reported it. And her family went to try to reach her and they couldn't. They went to her apartment. There's a note on the door and says, if you're looking for Lauren, call this number. And it was the apartment manager. The apartment manager told her mother that she was dead.
Oh my goodness. And
for more information, you should contact the Bridgeport police. They have gone for a month trying to get answers. And now finally, the Bridgeport police have said that the Bridgeport Police Narcotics and Vice Division have opened a criminal investigation as a result of the report, and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration will be assisting in the investigation because the family is ready to sue the city of Bridgeport and the police department and probably the medical examiner's office because they weren't getting any information. They said that they had talked to the man who found her, and he seemed like a nice guy, and he wasn't being held for any other sort of interrogation. And at one point, the brother called the police and said, "We don't have anything for you." The detective told her brother, "Don't call here anymore."
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
This is every parent's nightmare, every person's nightmare that a friend or a family member, but they are fighting back. And what I said in the story last week was, thank God for parents, for mothers like Mamie Till Mobley, like Ahmaud Arbery's mother, and now like Lauren Field Smith's mother, who are, pursuing, Breonna Taylor's mother, pursuing justice and trying to get some answers in the deaths of their children. And it's just it just makes me so angry. And her mother's name is Chantel Smith, and God bless you, Ms. Smith, for pursuing this and doing this. J. Kirk Leonard on YouTube says, we all know that nice white man killed Lauren, contaminated the evidence, so sue.
Yeah, I was going to say, I heard 3 wrong things when you opened up the case. That 1, nice white men on Bumble don't exist. 2,
I'm sorry to laugh, but that's the real, right?
Yeah, and 2, like on the first date, you invite them to your place. Wrong. 3, fentanyl. So I detect some foul play, and you're on the right track when law enforcement tells you to stop calling and bothering us. It means that they've done something wrong.
So, and also it questions the relationship this nice white man had with the members of the Bridgeport. We don't know that, who he is other than his name. And so now the investigation really begins in earnest, and hopefully, let us hope that this family gets the answers that they deserve. And God bless the memory of this young woman.
And I just wonder, who is putting the fentanyl on the drugs these days? That is the stupid thing. I mean, if you're selling drugs, don't you want your customers to come back? I mean, why the hell?
Yeah, this is not a one-shot business.
I mean, I like a very good point. Yeah. When I was selling my weed, I like people to come get another bag. You know what I mean?
And usually you give it to them. I don't know this. I've only heard that sometimes the drugs are given free the first time so that you will come back. And who's to say you want that return business, right?
Yes, yeah. but not with weed. That don't work. They just go somewhere to eat.
Or sleep.
Then they'd be like, where did we get this weed from? I forgot.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
dude.
fentanyl really cuts into profit margins now.
It really does.
Yeah.
You guys, those are the best lines of the night. Thank you so much.
That's the moral of the story. Don't do lines.
Don't do lines. Yeah.
Okay. Let us move.
Oh, I thought that was entertainment. No? Oh, well.
I do want to close this out on a note. Please check out our weekly column with the great Katrina M. Kraft talking about taxes and how to file and what you need to keep and things like that over the years and what you can toss because now the tax filing season is officially open. So please take a look at that. That's every Tuesday in the newsletter. Let's go to entertainment. And yesterday we reported that Cardi B has succeeded in suing a blogger because she said that she libeled Cardi B. This black blogger named Tasha libeled her, and now she was awarded like $1.25 million in the original suit, and so the punitive stage has now cleared, and she's walking away with a lot more money. She's thanking the jurors for another $1.5 million. And as she left federal court after the hearing to determine the punitive damages against Tasha K, she won big in the case with, I said, over $1 million, now $1.5 million. They found Tasha K liable for all three claims against her for telling several damaging lies about Cardi B. She thanked the jurors for reaching a fair decision, thanked the media for encouraging her through the trial, and she said reporters helped keep her strong while dealing with the emotional distress and 3 years of work that her attorneys did on her behalf. And so not only did Tasha K talk about her having STIs, sexually transmitted infections, and that she was a prostitute, and not only did she say these things that Cardi B says were not true, but even when Cardi B went to her and said, take it down, she refused to. She said no. And so this is where it's gotten her now. And people are wondering, does she even have the money to do this? Or maybe she made enough money because she became quite popular for this. And that's how you get sponsorships and things. She is going to have to pay $2.5 million unless they come to some sort of decision, compromise.
Unless Tasha K got a PPP loan back during the pandemic.
Right,
She ain't got that damn money.
yeah. She probably has that many followers, but she doesn't have that much money.
Yeah, and she might have to, open up
she might have to
cash
become
app
a prostitute like
herself.
Yeah.
Give her Cash App name, on her.
OnlyFans or something.
Wow, OnlyFans, yes.
Yeah.
And definitely not only Cardi B fans. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. No, go ahead, Damon.
No, I said it's just interesting that it came to that, and Cardi fought so hard to get that done, and got her name cleared. Because I know they were saying that she was going to have to submit medical records and take tests, and get her medical history out there. So that's a lot to to fight for your reputation, especially when some of the things she said in some of her songs, like you said worse about yourself. You still try to tell somebody to hit that dangly thing in the back of your throat. That's in your lyrics.
Okay, you didn't get this from some blogger.
No, it was a logger.
It's like a bullseye there. So good luck to you, young woman. And if this isn't Damon, I don't remember if you remember years ago when Carol Burnett sued the National Enquirer because they called her a drunk, And
Wow.
she was and she won the libel suit against the National Enquirer, because the National Enquirer would just make stuff up, but it became quite personal to her because she was the child of alcoholics, and so she was determined to clear her good name, and not just for the National Enquirer to say, "Oh, we were just kidding." She made them pay, and you don't hear about that often. People really, taking people to court anymore to clear their good names.
Yeah, well, a few people have sued publications recently, but the takeaway for this for me is hearing you properly use the term libeled, because all my life we've been hearing libel used incorrectly. Like, do it again, I'm liable to slap the hell out of you.
libel, yeah.
I'm like, that's not how that. I don't think I'm liable to slap the hell out of you. Do it again. Say it again. I'm liable to smack the hell out you. So like, when you said she was libeled, I'm like, did they smack the hell out of somebody?
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close with the jewel for the day. Although Damon and Khameron have given us several pearls today. And close with Yogi's jewel. It is easier for you to change for good than to expect people to change for good. So work on you. You guys have done good, not just good. You've done great work today. I thank you very much. And we will see you again soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you,
I'm liable to come back next week. I don't know.
I'm liable to be here too.
Bye.